Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. My name is Wanda. I am a women's trauma and mental health advocate, and I am the creator and founder of Her Story in a Smile movement, where I welcome in women from all walks of life to feel empowered and encouraged to reclaim their voice, their power, their life back. And today specifically marks 3 years since I've started this movement, and I know I have been quiet basically since mid last year. I've been on the low, but I wanted to show face today mainly for the women who have been supporting me since the day I've started, to the women who have trusted me to share their stories and beyond, the collaborations I have done in the last 3 years. It has been just a wonderful, growing, healing experience, and I'm blessed to be here today and just talk with you guys today. With that being said, aside from being eternally grateful to all these women and everyone who follows me, honestly, like literally, if you follow me, you're not just following me, you're following this movement, which is what I care about. I don't care about you following me for me per se. I care about you seeing the movement I created and the women who have also joined along the way and seeing them too. A little backstory, this movement, before it turned into a movement, was a project. And before it was a project, it was an idea that was inspired from a internship back in 2020, where I had to come up with an idea to give, whatever it was, project, to give back to the community. And at that time, I had no idea what it was until I picked up an old photo of me where I recognized my smile, but I knew when I picked up that old photo, like I said, I remember my smile, but I also got to remember how I felt like once I picked up that specific picture. And it was a lot of pain, and a compliment I always get when people meet me or people get to know me along the way is that they love my smile. Not necessarily, again, because of the looks, but more so of I'm always walking into places with a smile on. I could be crying the night before, but you'll never know that. And that's what made me pause and stop and just really sit with that photo, because I'm like, wow, people compliment me for my smile and I love it, but they have no idea what I'm going through. They have no idea the pain I'm carrying every single day. And that's how Her Story in a Smile was born. So by the end of 2020, August of 2020, which is when my internship ended, I was also battling with the deepest, darkest depression that I knew I was battling along for many years, but it just never clicked. Again, I wasn't educating on it. I didn't know much about mental health. All of this I had to learn on my own. And so with depression, with anxiety, with all these other things that were going on in my life, the suicide ideation kept on creeping. And towards the end of August, I can't remember the day, but there was a day that I was ready to just drive and see where it would take me, right? I had no plan per se, but I just knew I wanted it to end. And if it wasn't because I had someone that I back then supported while they were going through their own time, that was able to sit me down and actually just listen to me, it wasn't until then that I had to sit back with myself and have a real talk. And so I had to really take a step back, sit down, and I really did that. After that conversation, I went into my room and I was like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do, Wanda? Do you really want to die? Or do you want the pain to end? And so immediately, whether it was God, I believe it was God, but whether it was God or it wasn't God, whoever it was, whatever it was, once I answered that question, once I asked myself that question, the answer was immediate. I just wanted the pain to end. I no longer wanted to battle with childhood trauma. I no longer wanted to battle with teen trauma. I no longer wanted to battle with adulthood trauma that I was currently experiencing. And so I just wanted all of that to end. I want to live. I know I have it in me to live. I love life, And so after the conversation I had with myself, right before August ended, I did my first post. And it was simple. It was literally a photo of me. I don't even look happy. I could tell I look depressed now that I look back. And it was exactly that. I was confessing. I was introducing myself. I was confessing what I was going through, in the sense of, like, I'm battling depression, I'm suicidal, blah, 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 you name it. And my intention with the page is just to share my truth, because at that time and moment, I couldn't afford therapy. I didn't want to go to therapy because I just didn't want to unravel all of that at once. And so I'm like, I need an outlet. I need something ASAP. What can I do? And so I started the post. And from there, I started sharing my personal experiences from childhood to adulthood. I started sharing it all. And along the way, I started to reach out to women and to see if they, at first, if they saw me in terms of, like, if you see what I'm trying to do and if you feel safe to join me along the way. And so 2021 came and I kept on sharing, and it wasn't until January 11th that I announced Her Story in a Smile project movement, and I was able to share 3 stories for the year of 2021. And those 3 stories, even though it just may seem like, oh, just 3 stories, just think about it. It took me, I'm about to be 31 next month. It took me over 20 years to even speak up about matters that happened over 20 years ago, over 30 years ago. And so I knew that in a woman trusting me, someone they didn't know, to share their story on my platform, I know it was doing the same thing that it did to me, which was save my life. And maybe they didn't need their life saving, but they needed a voice again. They needed to reclaim that voice. And that's what my movement's all about. And then 2022 came, more collaborations, more stories came along the way. 2022 came, and it was my busiest year, but the most impactful for me, because it was reminding me that what I started the year before was worth it. Aside from it saving my life, which in itself is the best reason to continue to do this, because literally I saved my life. It saved my life. Along with God, like, this movement has time and time again saved my life, And so 2022, I did over 20-30 collaborations dispersed between articles, blogs, podcasts, you name it. And I was able to share alongside 10 to 15 stories that year. And I was like in cloud 9, because it's hard to trust, and it's hard to put your deepest experiences in public, in virtually, into trust. So to be able to be trusted with such deep and painful stories that these women have experienced, it meant a lot for me, because, like, once more, it's not easy to speak up on these matters at all. I don't care what anyone tells you. I don't care who tries to make you feel otherwise. It's not easy. And there are women who die with an untold story, which is why it gives me more fuel to speak up, because I no longer care. I no longer care who I lose. I no longer care what anyone says when it comes to my truth. I lived it. You didn't. I lived it. I have to live with this pain. I have to heal from this pain that I wasn't worthy of receiving, but I did, And so to those women who have shared their story from 2021 to 2023, because I also shared, a few more stories last year, I thank you. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for trusting this space. And so to speed things up a little bit, because I'm getting a little emotional. Thank you. I will never, ever, ever stop saying thank you for believing in me, for loving me, for having my back, for supporting me, for trusting this platform, for believing when I say that I got your back, I actually mean it, for believing that I will literally treat your story, hold your story as if it were my own, and I will only showcase it to the world in the image you want it to be presented as. Thank you. Thank you for that. 2023 was a tough year for me. I started off strong. I did my first mental health public speaking event in my community, and I'm still like so proud of that moment. But unfortunately, after that, I went emotionally, I went back to trauma, back to survival mode. 2023 for me was supposed to be the year of emotional freedom. And let me tell you something before I continue. Be careful what your intention is, and when you're putting it out in the universe, be specific, because yes, I asked for emotional freedom, but I forgot the part where we have to face all that we don't want to face first. And so, even though there are no regrets in that, because I gained more clarity, it brought me down. It brought me down because I realized that a lot of the healing I've been doing was the pain I was carrying for others. And what I realized this past year was that, okay, I did all of that. I got that out of the way. I got the baggage I was never meant to carry out of the way finally. But now I have to deal with the pain that Wanda went through. Wanda is still dealing with. Wanda is still healing from. And so it's not until today that I'm doing this video that I'm able to share that. And so even though I basically took a hiatus, I was on and off on my platform, but I stopped posting stories. I stopped making personal videos. I stopped reaching out because I just didn't have the energy to cater to anybody. I had to be like, I have to practice what I preach. I tell women to reclaim their voice, to reclaim their life, to say no more, to create new boundaries that, you know, will help you heal. And I wasn't doing any of that. I stopped doing that year. And so I was like, I can't. I have to take a step back. The people who ride for me will ride for me and will be there when I come back. The people who need me will be there when I come back. And it was what I said it was. I carried that shame because I felt like I abandoned my movement, my baby, because my movement is everything. Like, I protect it above all means. And so I felt bad I wasn't putting my time in like I was the years prior. 2024 is here, marking 3 years of Her Story in a Smile movement, and I am eternally grateful to each and every one of you who have stayed around and just loved me and believed in me and supported me and other women. And just thank you for that. This movement is here to stay. This is a lifetime movement. It is for me, and I welcome new faces, old faces, whoever you are. Just know that this is a safe space. If you want to reach out to me, I am available here through DM. And you can find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, which I will be working more on. I have more appearances that I will be appearing for this year, but gotta keep it on the low first. And you can reach out HerStoryInASmile@gmail.com and reach out there. Let's talk. You want to share your story? I'm all ears. My doors are always open. And from me to you, I love you. And never, ever, ever forget that your voice, your life, you yourself are worthy. I love you.